Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel for another WandaVision video. This week I'm going to talk through some of the unanswered questions and talking about them individually and trying to see if I can figure out where the story is headed. I already talked about who the main villain was in the series and then talked more about White Vision yesterday, and then today's video is going to be focusing on Monica Rambeau and where she goes now that she's an enhanced person. So I guess maybe we should start with that terminology. Is she considered an enhanced person, a mutant? What is she? For now, I'm comfortable using the term enhanced since the MCU hasn't used the term mutant yet. Like Steve Rogers and Bucky and even Bruce, she went in a normal person with no genetic mutation and came out with abilities. We thought the same thing about Wanda, but this series added layers that really make that more complicated. Like she had the witch thing going on too. But for Monica, the passing through this hex so many times gave her abilities, and the hex was made up of CMBR, cosmic microwave background radiation, and it's basically electromagnetic radiation, which is a remnant from the early stages of the universe, also known as relic radiation, and ties in with the Infinity Stones in the Marvel Universe. We know that radiation can have adverse effects from cancer to hulking out. For Monica, this gave her a fairly good range of powers. In the comics, she has appearance alteration, flight, superhuman speed, intangibility, and invincibility, and then also energy duplication, energy absorption, energy blast, and hypercosmic awareness. We've only seen her display a few of these powers like super speed and energy duplication and energy absorption, but we are really only scratching the surface of what her character can do. There have been questions or theories about making her a mutant, but I don't think so. I mean, Captain Marvel had a similar experience getting blasted with the CMBR with the Space Stone, and you wouldn't say that she's a mutant either. Scarlet Witch just also happens to be a mutant and a witch, plus the interaction with the Mind Stone, so she kind of has a trifecta of powers. We know in the comics that she becomes Blue Marvel and Captain Marvel, and I'm not sure if there are plans for her to be Captain Marvel in the MCU, but I do think that she will move on to being more of a cosmic character like Captain Marvel. Aside from her powers, where do we think we'll see her again? Well, I have a few ideas about this. At the end of WandaVision, she was approached by a Skrull with a meeting request from Nick Fury after he heard that she had been grounded. We can assume that this was Fury because we have seen him on the Skrull ship 7 months later in Far From Home post-credit scene, but I can imagine that Nick would have eyes and ears in the Sword organization as well. With the arrest of Director Hayward at the end of these events, I think this means that we will see Monica step into being a director as well. The conversation upon her return to Sword made it clear that would she have not been blipped, she would have been the director, with Hayward only getting it by default after Maria died. So this makes her not only superpowered physically, but as the director of Sword, she has that behind her too. This is obviously setting her up to be a big part of Secret Invasion, and we know that she's going to be in Captain Marvel as well. So at the very least, at the very latest, we can see her on November 11th in 2022 when Captain Marvel will release. But I do expect to see her before that though. I don't think she'll pop up in Falcon and Winter Soldier. That is going to be running at the same time as WandaVision events, or at least within a close time frame, and was supposed to release before WandaVision. Loki is in another reality for at least part of his show, but mostly focusing on time and realities. Where I think she is most likely to pop up is in Miss Marvel, which comes out later this year and is filming now. They actually just wrapped up in Atlanta this week with only a little bit of shooting left to do in Thailand. The Miss Marvel show is going to be the Kamala Khan version. Khan is a 16-year-old Pakistani American from Jersey City, New Jersey, who idolizes Carol Danvers. I'm not sure where they're going to be setting the series, but if it's actually in Jersey City, that isn't too far from where Westview is supposed to be. Now, this would be closer to New York, obviously, and more city area, but we are talking like less than 3 hours away. We were never really given a location for the Sword base either, but it seemed to be a short drive from Sword to Westview, with Monica and Wanda making it there within the same day and in daylight. Now, in the MCU, Captain Marvel is relatively unknown until the events of Endgame, even though she first surfaced in the 90s. So Khan, sees her take out this big-ass Thanos ship, and then boom, she's an instant fan. In the comics, she gets her powers from Terrigenesis, which we've seen on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but I don't know if that's going to be her origin, because that would really introduce Inhumans to the MCU. We do know that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is just on the outside of canon, like maybe a different reality or something, but the show itself is going to have to explain her origin, and we will see how it differs from the comics then. But what we do know is that she is going to be in Captain Marvel 2. That is confirmed. So with Monica also being confirmed for that, it isn't outlandish to think that Monica could be involved in Khan's origin, or at least a post-credit scene. So later this year is when I predict we'll see Monica back in action at some capacity. So thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more. I'll be doing these WandaVision videos every day this week, and then next week I'll switch over to doing Falcon and Winter Soldier videos with emphasis on what we should read and watch prior to the first episode.